Dancerush is one of my favorite rhythm games of all time. After all, there was a reason why I made this the first game I ever made a video about, and while I think I should definitely remake that video one day, it's not the video that I'm doing today, I just needed an intro. No, instead what I want to talk about today is a specific chart within the game called Crazy Shuffle, and how I consider it to be the quintessential Dancerush chart, a benchmark to compare all other charts to. Now, is this video gonna sound somewhat contrived? Maybe. I'm no expert in game design, but that's the thing. This chart has so many things to pick apart that even a scrub like me can appreciate how well this chart was made. In my opinion, it strikes a perfect balance between being fun and accessible to new players through its design, while being flexible enough for veterans to impress the audience with creative routines. Not to mention, the song just slaps in general, and even enhances the level design as you begin to analyze the finer details of the song and how the visual and audio cues meld together. Now, as the chart opens up, the song starts pretty low energy, and the chart is nothing too special, it's just steps that you need to hit with either your left or right foot. However, in that short 12-second segment, the game is essentially giving you a test run that helps you get used to stepping on this weird dance mat that to a newcomer they've probably never seen before. That's why during this first batch of notes, it's important to note, get it, note, is that these first 12 seconds are just open notes without anything really to spice it up, because if you're caught off guard by the first set of notes falling down, don't worry, you can try again with the next set of notes to really experiment and get a feel for the game. Another thing to point out is that these notes generally stay on their respective lanes. Left notes stay on the left side and right notes stay on the right side, but every so often you'll encounter a note that crosses over to the other side. At this point, you'll most likely be thinking, how am I going to get my foot there and make it look good? And on instinct, you'll be twisting your body a little bit to reach the note, which is good because it's not just boring left, left, right, right patterns, though that's just basic chart design. Regardless, this specific action expresses two things. One, this game isn't like DDR, you're encouraged if not expected to make use of the whole mat, not just for specific buttons. And that too, it establishes its identity as less of a hit the notes as fast as you can type of game, but rather a game that focuses on combining style with substance. Which is reflected in the way that this chart is structured, where you can be as basic as possible and look somewhat competent at dancing, though if you're a veteran and know what you're doing, this section is flexible enough for you to pull off something crazy. That being said, this is only a small part of what I'd like to call the tutorial phase of the chart, as you're briefly introduced to a new pattern called the T-step, which transitions into a small hold note and into a running man. At this point, you're given a small taste of the more quote-unquote advanced cool looking moves, and the music reflects that slight shift in difficulty by adding that small burst of energy into the song, slowly building up as you are reintroduced into the T-step. Which is fitting, considering it's the second move you learn when learning how to shuffle more broadly. Nonetheless, the music continues to build up as you encounter this pattern that we'll refer to as in and outs, which continues to build even further as you transition into SpongeBob's, culminating into this huge payoff where you jump as the guy in the song just shouts the line that every Dancerush player knows. What makes this section a great start is that it acts as a short little tutorial for people to get used to playing Dancerush, as you're immediately introduced to the four fundamental moves in short order: steps, running mans, T-steps, and SpongeBob's. If you're able to complete this section without much trouble, congrats. Already in the first 30 or so seconds, not only will you know how to play Crazy Shuffle, but you basically figured out how to play 90% of all Dancerush charts. No stupid tutorial that takes your song slot required. But if you're playing this chart for the 119th time, you could just say screw the structure and do whatever you want. Either way, I bet you'll look pretty cool and feel really good whether or not you follow what the designers intended for you to do or decide to infuse your own style, as you're rewarded with that sweet jump in the end that just hypes up what comes next. The song goes through a drop while you're in midair, and the melody just comes crashing down as you land back onto the dance pad and encounter another running man, officially entering the chorus. Now it's up to you to keep up that hype by using what you've learned the opening stages of the chart with superb running man technique. Besides, how hard can that be? Running mans are pretty hard to mess up. Nonetheless, there is the ever-helpful dance guide that you can pick on the main menu if you still prefer having that sort of structure. But I digress, as you get further into this section, the notes will prompt you to switch sides while doing the running man. As far as the music is concerned, this move is reflected when the melody cuts off for a brief moment, giving a feeling of airy suspense as you tap these quick light notes to perform the switch. Admittedly, it should make you feel pretty cool while doing it, as it strings the moves quite nicely, and you get to do it again after this jump note, where it coincides to where the song briefly peaks, before crashing down again as you land onto another running man and perform another switch. Though in terms of freestyle potential, this section doesn't really offer that much in terms of creativity. Not like it stops people like Hirasu from incorporating spins or reverse running mans anyway. It's just that when you compare it to other charts or even other sections in this chart, it's just not the most flexible. But that's okay, as it never really needed to be, as it was structured in a way for new players to feel cool while slowly getting a hang of the game's mechanics. Up next, the chart continues with a jack and into a crossover, and I cannot tell you how much I love crossovers. They're simple to execute and it looks very clean. Just look at top DRS player Nishi when he does it. This actually all ties back to why I love this chart so much. It's moments like these where the game actually teaches you how to dance, not through some step-by-step guide, but through its gameplay. In any case, you get to do it again as you transition into the next set of Running Mans and into a pair of T-steps, where the steps are synced up to the song's kicks, which provide that extra layer of groundedness as you're stomping your feet hard on the floor, with the sound effects of the notes really adding that extra layer of audio. Eventually, it'll all come to an end as you encounter a hold note and 2 open notes into another hold, which you can either treat as a T-step or be a cool kid and use that opportunity to do a spin. The choice is yours as you approach a down note accompanied with a drop in the song. A few seconds later, the song picks up again and you're prompted to jump on these 2 notes. Then you encounter alternating hold notes where you can do moves like the Charleston or just take a break if you want to. But that break doesn't last long and you'll encounter another moment where you'll again be thinking, how can I make this look good? Luckily, through its note placement, you'll be guided to perform the move naturally without anyone having to give you explicit instructions on how to do it. Though if you want to be a little fancy, you could be like my guy here doing a literal spinning jump with a smooth transition into the T-step. After that, there are more alternating hold notes. Feel free to take another short break or go all out if you feel like it as you prepare for another T-step, perform another set of Running Mans, and have the opportunity to pull off another spin. A short while later, we enter into a filler section full of just down notes and open notes, and that's literally it. But in all seriousness, despite its simple or even quote-unquote lazy structure, there lies an opportunity to just experiment and fool around, and the music reflects that by being a little more mellow compared to the rest of the song. In this more relaxing section, you could probably use this chance to incorporate hand gestures to add a small bit of flair to your steps, or practice that one move that you just can't seem to get right. As long as you can hit the notes, the possibilities are endless. Though as we get into the crossovers, the music begins to slowly pick up again to where we meet alternating hold notes, and generally people just shuffle at this part. But remember how I said that the possibilities are endless so long as you hit the notes? Well, instead of shuffling, I like to incorporate Kostotsuki kicks in this section, allowing me to show my unique take on Crazy Shuffle that, while sure, I could just shuffle, but this is a moment where I can differentiate myself from how others play the chart and hopefully get those sweet views on YouTube. After you go through this section of hold notes, you'll encounter a section with a jump, 5 down notes ending off into another jump. Since there are no notes in this section, you can basically do whatever you want and showcase your own style. From crab steps to cartwheels to 6 steps, the sky's the limit. Just use this chance to show off your own personal brand of Crazy Shuffle as the beats sync up to every down note, building a hyped up atmosphere while the voiceover goes like 3, 2, 1, let's go. Into another drop, where you perform the chorus section again as the music comes back in full swing, delivering on that hype. Now as we begin to wrap up the chorus of the song, we come to what is probably the weakest part of the chart, with these patterns called stutter steps. These patterns have you anchor one of your feet as you slide the other foot in and out. However, the main problem with this pattern is that it asks you to slide your feet in too much, making it very awkward to slide your feet back out due to the increased friction caused between you and the pad, effectively killing the momentum that the chorus works so hard to build up as you feel yourself pushing your foot against the floor rather than gliding on it. Now this isn't to say that stutter steps are bad, far from it, it's just a matter of poor note design due to this particular pattern being among the first of its kind. As when you compare this pattern to how they designed stutter steps in charts like Mitsuki, they actually improved on the stutter step by shortening the length in which you slide your foot, making it feel a bit snappier. So while I can't really fault Crazy Shuffle for having a less than stellar stutter step, we live in a world where we can create updates and patches, so yeah, Konami, fix your game. However, this is the only real gripe I have regarding this section, and while this is more of a nitpick than anything, I would like to say that this section is super repetitive in my opinion. Like, fine, I can understand if there were 2 or 3 stutter steps, but for the whole section? I don't know, man. I mean, it's almost the end of the song. You'd think that they would at least throw some more interesting patterns at you to capitalize on the hype of the chorus, but no. You are forced to stutter step with no sort of variation whatsoever, nor does it give you the flexibility to pull off some cool moves. Which is unfortunate considering that this section had potential. They could have put in other patterns like Hirasu spins or set notes up to be more freestyle friendly that can allow the player's creativity to shine through. Just anything to break the monotony of stutter stepping the entire section. Fortunately, the chart ends on a high note where you can perform a JoJo pose on the down note and into a section of holds that are accompanied by a down note with each step. Again, giving that feeling of weightiness to your steps with the sounds of the down note, reinforcing that oomph factor. All of it finishing off with a short little T-step, serving as a perfect diving board to pull off one final move to cap off the song. To many, Crazy Shuffle is one of the most iconic Dancerush charts. It's a chart that perfectly encapsulates the essence of Dancerush's identity as a game that focuses on style rather than how fast you can hit a certain button. Through its note placement, it provides enough structure to naturally guide you through the motions, making you feel like you're actually dancing, while still providing the option of having a dance guide if you want that extra bit of support. Yet despite its beginner-friendly nature, it is flexible enough for people to put their own personal touch to the game. And in its minor flaws, we are given insight into how Dancerush charting was like back in the game's infancy, as well as think about how it could be improved through a potential revamp or in a new chart. Not to mention the fact that the song and visuals serve to complement one another, resulting in an experience that you're bound not to forget. But above all, it's just fun, whether you play by yourself or participate in a train with some friends, whether you want to do the bare minimum or decide to go all out, you'll be having a good time either as a player or a spectator, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. With that said, I hope that this has given you a fresh appreciation into how well constructed this chart is and see it in a new light, maybe even get you to check out videos of people playing Crazy Shuffle, or if you're a newcomer, look forward to playing it yourself. Special thanks to my friends over at the Dancerush Discord server, and a special shout out to my friend Lily for helping me out with the script. The link to the server is in the description below, and feel free to join us. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.